This Racing Life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements.
Hello and welcome back to This Racing Life. We've travelled up to the slightly chillier West Yorkshire to visit two training establishments that live and breathe horse racing. Sam England is an ambitious trainer who's taken over the family operation, and on a similar path, Joel Parkinson, who's based here at Craiglands Farm, is now on a joint licence with his grandmother, Sue Smith.
It's just a fantastic place to train horses. You can go for 4 or 5 miles and not have to turn a corner. You can go anywhere all around the moor. We've got fantastic gallops. We've got good jumps. It's just, you couldn't have, the altitude's great as well for the training, so you just couldn't have a better place. Only perhaps a little bit further south would be my only request.
What's your earliest memories of being up here?
So I used to come get the bus up. The bus didn't come all the way to the yard. It used to turn around about a mile down the road, so I used to get the bus to there and then walk across the fields.
And
so,
how old would you have been then?
12, 13-ish. I learnt to ride on all my granddad's old show jumpers and loved it, couldn't get me away. As soon as I started, that's what I was going to do. Got some big boots to fill for sure. We're still all doing it together. It's not like they've gone anywhere. They're still here when I need them, and yeah, it might be me outside doing the majority of things, but we speak most days, and they're still here, and you know they're a shoulder to lean on and support when it's going wrong, and advice and anything else, and to celebrate when it goes right as well. So it's still all a big team thing. And
when you were growing up, what do you remember of your grandmother training and your grandfather riding?
Key memories, I suppose, it was just relentless. It's a relentless sport, isn't it? So I've grown up with that, I expect it. It's not a shock, but it's hard work. It's hard work, and they've probably done it with horses. They've never had the quality given to them. Apart, your Hemmings and owners like that, yeah, they sent nice horses, but I like to think that, and my granddad as well, when he was jumping, did it on horses perhaps down a level to what he was competing them at.
And you've got two different sides of the family. You've got the show jumping side, and you've got the racing side. As a young man, you chose the show jumping. Why was that?
I always liked the racing. I probably, when I was learning to ride, I rode the racehorses out around the moor and things, and I probably learned to jump on my granddad's old show jumpers that were still about when he'd slowed down a little bit. So I rode a bit of everything when I was a kid. But my weight, when I was 16, I think I was 11.5, 12 stone, so I had no chance. I had no chance of doing that. Well, the two sports are like chalk and cheese. You know what time you're going to run. If you go to a show, you might jump in at 2 o'clock in the morning and not what time you're home. So it's refreshing for me. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the change. I'm home more. I know what time I'm home. We've got kids now, so it makes that all better. But I think the show jumping has given me a really good grounding. I'm glad I did it, but I'm enjoying this more.
After your show jumping career, you were living down south. You decided to come home. Why? What was that decision?
One day I just decided, I wanted to start a family. I wanted to be involved in the family business. So I rang him one day and I said I'm ready for home. I was in Belgium at the time. I remember the phone call. So he said, well, you better get home then. And
it was come back, open arms, and you were a massive part of this team. You were assistant here for about 5 years, is that right?
Yeah.
And then during those 5 years, I suspect you went into that role knowing that eventually you'd be taking over this place.
I always had it in my head, yeah, that I would want to get the licence, yeah. There was always a lot of work to do. I couldn't just come and take over. There was always a lot of work to do, but I knew, my grandparents being the age that they are, I knew that I possibly might get an opportunity down the line.
Did you feel pressure then to show how capable you could be?
I'm not a believer in pressure. I think pressure is when somebody won't let you get out of bed in the morning. I think that's pressure. This is just opportunity.
And it's not necessarily that much pressure when you've got amazing people around you and people that have done it before. How handy is it to tap into that experience? Because I know that you speak to your grandmother Sue daily.
Yeah, Yeah, you can't put a price on it. I'm lucky to have them. I'm lucky to have the facilities that they've built up over the time that they've done it. We've got some boots to fill. They've had some big winners, but I'm ready for it. I want to go.
And then when the decision was made for you to come onto the licence and you to start running the show here, other than just fresh energy, what was at the top of your target list when you wanted to come in?
I knew we had to get the numbers up. As prospective owners looking in, I knew we had to get the strike rate up. We had to be ready a bit earlier. To come into this job, I looked at it to think, what could I improve? And that was certainly something that I wanted to do.
Is that looking back at stats, the performances that had been from the years before? I mean, like now we sit here on 29 winners this season already. We're in the middle of January. Looking back at it, I think that the last 5 years of when it was just Sue, I think you surpassed 20 winners just the one time. So the numbers have massively improved. Is that because they've started a little bit earlier? What would you put that down to?
Yeah, I think we had the best November. We had the best month in November since 2008, I think. It's something like that. I can't just remember how many winners we had in November. I think it's 15 or something like that.
How did that make you feel personally?
Good, because it's exactly what we set out to do. And not to sound cocky, but I half expected it. I knew we were in a good place. I knew the horses were well. I knew if we get them in the right races, we were going to be a nuisance.
Why did you expect it?
I think we had a few horses that were at the right end of the handicap. The handicap was getting a bit close to a few of them now. Another thing was we produced a lot ourselves of stores, and we break them in and we do them all from the start. And I knew a few nice horses were coming to the fruition from that as well.
What type of boss are you, do you think?
I'm probably a bit laid back. You've got to be Mr. Nasty every now and then, but I try not to be. We've got a good team of people. Everybody's doing a really good job, and everybody's enjoying winning. So as long as that's going all right, I can be a nice guy, can't I?
You came back here to be assistant for Joel in the summer. You had to pack up your own training operation to do that. Why was that?
Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, I think you're better off in bigger numbers, really. You know, you need small numbers. I don't think you survive. It's hard doing it in small numbers. You know, I think you need to be big in this game to make a good living and to have fun, really. You know, that kind of way. How
did it come about?
Well, obviously, I was only just down the road here, and I was using the gallops here. And obviously the facilities they have here is best in the country, you know, best gallops in the country. And obviously I know the place and I know the people, and you know it just made sense to me, really.
Who called who?
I rang Sue and Joel, yeah, I rang them up.
And then how quickly did that happen? How quickly did it come into fruition?
Well, not straight away, obviously, because it's takes time, doesn't it? You know. Obviously I had my own horses there as well. I had about 15 horses in total. With owners and all that, so it wasn't just like a quick turnover, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the best thing to do for me, really.
How's it been since you've been here? What's Joe like as a boss?
He's good, yeah, he's good. We just, obviously we just bounce off each other, really, and just try to do the best for the horse, really. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Aurora's encore with a loose horse for company. His 4 lengths clear from T for 3. Oscar Time is now beaten off, and it's Aurora's encore for a huge shock in the National. The 11-year-old is driven out. A first ride in the race for Ryan Mania. He'll win for Sue Smith, and Aurora's encore wins the John Smith's Grand National.
How much of that success in 2013 still gives this team and this training operation motivation and drive? How much do you tap into winning the most famous race of them all? Because I suspect that kind of success in the past will get you up in the morning.
Yeah, I'll always have a go. I'll always aim quite high. I don't mind having a go and failing. I'd rather go and have a go rather than regret not having a go. But I think that's just testament to my granddad. You know, he's instilled that in me, my dad, anybody who's been involved with him and around him has got this sense of you can go and achieve anything. We fancy ourselves a bit, but I think it's with good reason. We've worked hard, and I think that's something that you can't let go either. You've got to keep working hard. So we've got 60 stables. We've got more in the barn that we can put up if we need to. We've got plenty of room. We can do anything we want really. But that's the capacity at the minute. We've got some pens and we've got a big indoor school that we just have an old muck floor and we turn a few in there, and it works very well.
How many would you say you've got in at the moment?
So we've got about 50 that we can run at the minute. Just one or two injuries and bits and pieces but about 50 that we can run, yeah.
And you mentioned how great this place is to train out of, but you have said you wouldn't mind it a couple of miles down further south. It's interesting because you've had great success at Southern Racecourses. Your highest strike rate since taking over here is actually at Sandown. 3 runners, 2 winners, a 67% strike rate. It's not bad going. Is that something you want to target, having more runners down south?
Yeah, I think, when you go down there with the right horses, we can train with it as well as anybody. In my opinion, with the facilities we've got, I don't like the north-south divided. It winds me up.
Why?
Well, I think if you get the quality of horses, you can go and compete with anybody, just because you're up north. And the country's a lot smaller with these 2 stalls, isn't it? You can soon send a horse down to Sandown and win like we have done.
Do you think there's a feeling then from maybe racing people down south that the northern horses couldn't compete?
I think there is that feeling, yeah. I think there is that feeling for some reason. It's probably true, but I think the quality of horse, it's the quality of horse. If you get it, you can win.
How much enjoyment does it give you when you go and travel to, say, a Sandown and you have a big winner with O'Connor?
It's where everyone wants to be in those races, so it's nice that we're lucky enough to have the opportunities with the horses we've had, and the success we've had has come from having that. So yeah, I like going down there and winning. It's definitely where you want to be.
From a racing family steeped in history to a shop that's been open for nearly 200 years, our next stop was Pateley Bridge to visit the oldest sweet shop in England.
When did this place first open?
It's been open since 1827 and it's been continuously trading as a sweet shop in this room, if you like, since that time.
It's amazing to see, so many sweets, but the history behind this place. How many different owners has it had during that time?
It's had about 4 owners, so once every 50 or 60 years it's kind of changed hands, which is, fitting with a working life, if you like. But yeah, the history, like you mentioned, is just so, that's what gets me passionate about the place. The history of the shop, but also the history of each and every sweet behind me.
When did your journey start at this place?
My journey started quite recently, like 8 years ago. So not too long ago in the history of the shop.
What dragged you to get involved here?
It wasn't just sweets, it was the history of the older sweet shop. There's so much history within the building, within each of these sweets, and we see that with many of our customers even today. There's grandparents bringing their grandchildren in, as their grandparents would have done. So, and perhaps even to this very shop.
Ben, there'll be so many people that are going, right, come on. How do we know that this is the oldest sweet shop in the world, but you've had it verified? We
have, yeah. We got certified in 2014 as the oldest continuously trading sweet shop by the Guinness World Records.
If they're saying it, then it's definitely true. What did they have to do to prove that? Did they have to go round and... So
they searched archives, they searched records, and it's the continuously trading. So as you can see, it's been continuously trading in this room/building since 1827. Some sweet shops may have moved premises or what have you, or closed and then reopened. But this has been continuously trading in this room in Pateley Bridge since that time, since 1827.
How do people find out about this place?
A lot of it's through word of mouth, and a lot of it is regular customers, and it's been passed down through generations. So people are saying, "Oh, I remember when we used to go to Pateley Bridge for the older sweet shop," and more people do that now than ever.
Has it always been sweets?
Yeah. So back in 1827, they would have served a lot more tobacco, cakes and biscuits. But since the end of rationing, it kind of went purely sweets after that.
What I really find interesting is the history. As you said, it opened up in 1827. That means that next year it's going to be 200 years. Is that quite a big year for you?
Yeah. We think a 200-year anniversary celebration will be a big event for us. We're looking forward to celebrating that with both customers and ourselves. but we haven't planned it just yet, but we're getting ready to.
Yorkshire is a hive of not only amazing history but also great racing. And from our point of view, you have people travelling all around Yorkshire going racing. How important is it that they stop here on the way?
Oh, it's so important. They've got to get their sweet treats for a day at the races.
They do. They need their fuel, they need the sugar, they need their energy.
Exactly.
Which one should they go for? What's your favourite?
My favourite's probably a traditional dolly mixture, followed by a classic midget jam.
Right. Is there a few that could be candidates though?
I think so, yeah. But you've got to choose one, I suppose.
Well, when we first came in here, I was going, blimey, this is quite overwhelming. There's so many going on. I think I'm going to go have a shop.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's absolutely fine. Go for it.
Well, unfortunately, one thing we can't control in television is the weather, and Storm Chandra has had her say, but the team here at Manor Farm are still working very hard to keep the show on the road. Let's take cover, let's head inside and meet trainer Sam England.
I didn't necessarily want to be a jockey or anything early on. I just loved horses, I loved animals, I loved being outside, and I prefer horses to people. And yeah, it's just kind of gone from there, and then I liked horses and I liked hunting, point to pointing, pony club and all the usual thing, and then had to go point to pointing, and it went from there really.
Joe Foster gave you kind of your first insight into racing. What happened during that time?
I left school as soon as I possibly could, and Joe obviously just trains down the road. Mum and Dad were like, well, you need to get a job, and I was like, perfect. I couldn't drive, I could cycle down to Joe Foster's, ride out, and I started riding out down there, and she introduced me to pointing, and I was like, this is quite good fun, and and it's just gone from there, and I had my own pointers, and yeah, like I say, it's just gone from there really.
What was it about the pointing that made you go, this is something that I could go into?
I just liked horses, and ever since I was a kid, I probably never had the best horse or the best pony. We always had like the second-rate one, or there was one that was something wrong with it, or the one that would only go one way. And I've always enjoyed getting to know them and getting inside their minds and getting them to be a team and wanting them to work for you. And very much the same when it was point to pointing. When I was point to pointing, at the time Yorkshire area was very competitive. We had Jacqueline Coward was ladies champion. Oliver Greenall was men's champion. It was very tough and competitive, and you had to kind of get to know your horses to get the best out of them really.
Did you see that as a challenge, because say you didn't have the best horse in the race or anything that you were doing, that challenged it? How do I go and make this horse good enough to go and compete and win?
Well, not really the best. It's just you just had to kind of get in their minds really, didn't you, and get them to want to do it. And if an animal that wants to do something and you get them working with you, they'll go well for you.
Were you competitive when you were younger?
Yeah, I still am.
How come? How competitive?
I just, if anything, if we're playing a game of tennis, cards, anything, I've always wanted to win. I've got, got a brother and a sister, and as a kid I was just competitive. One wants to be sport, anything. I just wanted to do well at it, so.
Everything's pretty much well galloped up, they're fit, they're ready to rock, the ones that are running, aren't they? So it's just a matter of keeping the leg stretching. But if we have a Sunday today and then we'll exercise a few horses on Sunday, it doesn't really matter, be flexible like that. It's not really the rain, it's the wind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! Good lads. Woo-hoo! Other way, pal. Go on, sweetheart, go the other way.
How would you reflect on your riding career?
It was just, I just did it to enjoy it. I look back and think I could have probably done a lot better, but I didn't ride to be, I didn't go into it to be a jockey. And, I just did it because I liked riding horses. I liked getting horses to run for me. I liked having them jumping and going round and, jumping and everything smooth and rhythm and, and then tactics, outwitting other jockeys, and people go, oh, you've got a disadvantage being a girl. I think you've got a massive advantage. Look how many male jockeys there are. If you want a girl jockey, you've only got a small pool of people to choose from. And horses actually run for girls. And I've wouldn't have a shadow of a doubt of putting a girl up on the right horse, you know, and I think it was just good fun, and I just did it to enjoy it, really.
Why do you think that horses run for girls?
Because they do things different, they get on, and you know, it's just, not all horses, some horses do need, but some horses need, like if there was horses that I rode and I wasn't physically strong enough to ride them, but then at the same time, some horses like being in charge and just half running off with a girl and one thing and another.
So when the riding stopped, was it always with a view to then going into the training side of things?
Well, I always kind of had an eye on the training and trained them a little bit, so it wasn't like it was stop doing one thing and doing another. I just kind of did both, and then it was more like I could concentrate on training them and not having to worry about riding them.
We'll swim Dave and pass. I don't know where pass is, I don't know whether he's on the bottom, Sam. Yeah.
There you go. Good.
You know, in the summer when they've been running on flat on a bit of quick, you know, faster ground, and they can be jarred up, or if they've lost a shoe, or we get, you know, some horses, you know, the older horses, they've got niggles and, you know, issues. We don't miss a day. They come in here, you know, after you've galloped them, you know, yourself, if you've worked hard on a gallop day, and then the next day you just go a bit steadier, don't you? So
do some of them love it more than the others?
Yeah, some of them are definitely lifetime swimmers, and you know, they're a bit older and got a few more issues, and they have to do plenty of this. Some of them, we haven't really had anything that hasn't taken to it, but yeah, some are definitely a little bit better at it than others. But fat ones, you know, that need a bit of extra work in an afternoon and things. And sour horses, you can do plenty of them in here and they've not had a rider on them, and then when they get ridden, they're fresh and great and they love it, and it's a bit of a novelty, and it takes the grind out of working, really.
I feel for some of them, I'd need a bit of convincing to get in there in this weather.
Oh, it is chilly.
It is
Ice
chilly,
baths
isn't
are
it?
all the rage though, aren't they?
They are.
Here's the last star presenter, lands a couple ahead. Nautical Twilight chasing the Nuno Valoroso. Star presenter shaken up firmly in front, still over half a furlong to go. Nautical Twilight trying hard to get on terms, gets to the leader's tail, but Star presenter driven all out. Nautical Twilight is closing in the shadows of the post. Star presenter, though, is going to just about do enough and make a dream start to the training career of Sam Drake.
How did it feel when you send out your first runner and the dream happens? Because I imagine the night before you were thinking, oh, how good would that be?
Well, I remember actually being really antsy because, like, I'd got everything into licensing and I was waiting for my license to come through, and they're obviously still running in my father's name, and they kept winning, and I'm like, Dad's having all these winners and they should be my winners. But not that it really mattered. But yeah, so it was quite nice. I was like, they're going to be badly handicapped by the time, but no, it was quite nice that it all went to plan.
So you were training the jumpers first. What made you move then to have a taste of the flat?
I think it was maybe Johnny's idea at the time, and he was like, we bought my Renaissance and we business-wise planned to be more dual purpose, and he was an older horse, he'd run. Obviously then you get clause in your licenses, don't you? You have to have older horses that have run, you can't just start with 2-year-olds and things. And he was a star for us. He won 10 races. I think he won flat, hurdles and a chase all in one season. He was an unbelievable little horse. And so we're like, right, we'll get the flat licence out, and he was fantastic. And then we probably didn't really push it, the flat, for a couple of years.
Pointing was what you knew, and then you trained jumpers. Was it a bit daunting stepping into the flat world?
I suppose we've had to learn a little bit more, like, I think we place our jumpers very well. I think we know the tracks, we know what races. Like, I'm very lucky, Johnny will get off and say, run this here in this race, this, and 9 times out of 10 it goes and works. With the flat, we have had to learn. But like where we're situated, Yorkshire, there's all the courses nearby, so local. And yeah, once we started to apply ourselves potentially to it, it was all right.
You can't stand still in this game. There's always someone, so you've always got to keep going and keep trying to get better and keep your facilities, and you know, and like the type of horses that we tend to have, we do things a little bit differently because it just keeps them healthy and active and sharp in the mind.
I looked into the stats. You sent out 33 individual runners this season over jumps. 17 of those individuals have won, 24 winners in total. So you've had more horses that have gone out onto a racecourse and won than not. That's unheard of, really, when it comes to especially jump racing. Does it fill you with a lot of pride that you're pleasing so many owners in the yard?
Yeah, and we've got a good team. We all work well. Johnny's a massive part of it, and and everyone has their role to play, and it just works quite nicely. And I think we don't just want horses in stables just for having horses in stables. If it's not going to be capable of winning races, I'd like to think I'm brutally honest and say, look, this isn't going to cut the mustard, and let's find it a new job. There's no point in just having horses in boxes. They've got to be there and be capable.
What's it like working so closely with your husband? Because it's the one thing, the unwritten rule that people say don't do. What's that like?
Yeah, challenging at times.
But there are advantages as well, aren't there?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we've had to kind of learn our roles a little bit. And he is very involved in the training and very, very involved in the horses. It's not just me. I'd say we're probably nearly joint trainers. Whether he'd ever want to put his name on the licence as well, but that when his time comes to finish riding, I don't know, that's up to him. But yeah, we have had to learn to back down, and also we're not always right, but there is no right or wrong way. So sometimes one of us will do something and then the other one will just, it's not working. Right, you do something with that horse for an hour and see if that gets it going, and and it works.
How proud are you of what you've both built up here?
Yeah, massively. Obviously, you don't like to sit back and kind of go, oh well, yeah, it's good. You kind of always thinking forward, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't really look at it in that respect. You kind of got to look. You're always looking to build. Always looking to better the place, better the horses. Like when you're riding, you're always looking at what you're doing wrong. Could you be doing something better? So yeah, it's nice what it is, but it's definitely you can always be doing something better.
From a training perspective, what do you believe Sam's best qualities are?
Horses seem to come here if they're a bit stale and a bit sick of life. Sometimes the setup just seems to work quite well for that type of horse.
Why is that?
I don't know. I suppose they all become friends. They all go out in the field in big bunches. You just kind of try and work each horse out to work out how to ride and work out how to train them. Yeah, I don't really know really. We just do what we do, and yeah, seems to work.
A jockey-trainer combination of husband and wife is something quite interesting and quite rare. Does that have its pros and cons at times?
Yeah, Sam does try to tell me how to ride horses the odd time, and I have to abruptly tell her to this is my kind of. But yeah, look, it is one of them. It works both ways. A lot of times when you can kind of try and tell a jockey how to ride a horse, you can have great ideas on how to do things, but a lot of the time you can get down to the start and it all goes out the window. So I think if you very much go out to ride your horse, off feel and pace and just do what you think's right, like, yeah, it just seems to work.
We could talk about so many of the horses out there, but the one I really want to focus on is Saligo Bay, who's just been unbelievable this summer. He's won 5 from his last 7. He started winning over jumps off 98 in June. He's now off 124. What a legend he's been.
I know, 8 wins in 12 months. It's fairly good going, isn't it? He's cracking. I keep saying he's probably going to be due a little bit of a holiday somewhere, but every time I mention a holiday, he seems to go and run another blinder. He's a joy to train. He licks his pot every day. He comes out, he's enthusiastic in all his work, and he just wants it. He goes racing and he just wants it, and he wants to please, and it's just a pleasure.
What do you put that down to, the fact that he's been so good on the track?
He's just healthy and happy, isn't he? And if we look after him, he looks after us.
I suppose if you could have a stable full of Saligo Bays, you'd be delighted.
Oh, it'd be the dream, wouldn't it?
That's it for this episode of This Racing Life up here in West Yorkshire. We braved Storm Chandra, but a huge thank you to Joel Parkinson and Chad Collier, Ben from the oldest sweet shop in the world, and both Sam and Jonathan England. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.
This Racing Life with Albasti Equiworld, the leading supplier of horse feeds and supplements.